Shalom, and welcome to my vlog from toe to head Ilan in the Holy Land, another episode. And today we are in a marvelous place. If you have only 1, 2, or maybe 3 hours in Israel, come to visit here, the Israel Museum. Or maybe you have a transporter machine like in Star Trek, come and visit. We will visit in the archaeological part. It's amazing, whatever. Let's begin. Yes, and now we are in the entrance of the archaeological wing. You can see here a lot of pottery from different times. As we know, pottery is one of the main tools to date the archaeological places. You see, from the prehistoric until to the Ottoman Empire. And what we see here is what we call anthropoid, which means coffins in human shape. Okay? This was found in Dir al-Balach, not from Gaza. It's a Philistines' coffins. You see, each coffin, one person. Very nice. We have a lot of this, in Egypt. And the Philistine took it from the Egyptians. And we have an exhibition here. Now we will pass through the prehistoric part, which is interesting, but not for now. We will jump quickly to the biblical time. Yes, we can see some replica, see, of a skeleton. And here you can see Chalcolithic find. It's amazing. You see the copper, 6,000 years old. See which high level of artcraft. It's amazing. You see the crowns. You see the ivory here, and you see what a delicate and gentle work. It's amazing. 6,000 years old. Let's continue a little bit. We have many tools. And now, interesting thing I want to show you. What we see in Ushuaia, because they had not enough place, so they buried the person. After 1 year, the flesh was rotten, and they collected the bones and put it in this nice box. You see? They decorate it very nicely. You can see the face looks at us. Okay, let's continue the biblical part. Okay, this room is dedicated to Chatzor in north of Israel. We can see 2 lions from basalt. As we guess, they're the guardians of the temple or something. We see it. It's very famous in Syria, in Mesopotamia as well. You just put them in the entrance to the building, and they supposed to protect the building. And interesting thing that they found in Chatzor is a temple. You see some steles, a temple, and what the most important thing here is this one. You see 2 hands and the moon. So probably it was temple for the moon or something like this. And from the other side we have another very impressive stela. Okay, and let's continue. And there are other people here, and I don't want to interrupt them. Now this part, it's not from Chatzor, it's from Lachish. You see the golden one. You put it larger. You see Ishtar, the goddess, is on a horse or something like this. The fertile goddess. And we have kind of figurine here. You see a warrior. It's very interesting, and many kinds of things, but I want to show you. See, you see these 2 fish. You see one fish, another fish, one probably from Egypt, and other one, it was found in Israel, but it came from Egypt, alabaster or something like this. And we have we have the thinking guy from Yehud. Yehud is the name of place, and the guy like Auguste Rodin, the thinking person. Okay, let's continue. Very interesting finds. You see a rotate head of statue. It was found in Avel Bet Machanof of Israel. We don't really know who this was belonging to because Avel Bet Macha is exactly border between the Phoenician, Aramean, and the Israelites. So it may be Etbal, king of Phoenician. It might be Hazael, king of Aram, or maybe it's Ahab, king of Israel. We don't know, but you see, it's very impressive head. It was the head of a figurine, and here we have enormous artifact. It's a bronze calf. It's from the 12th century BCE. It was an Israeli site in north of Samaria, and I will make it a little bigger. Of course, it reminds us the golden calf in the book of Exodus, and also the calves of Jeroboam in the book of Kings. So we know that the Israelites worship this kind of statues, and to show you a very interesting find as well. Okay. Okay. A Philistine inscription. It's one of the few inscriptions of Philistine. It was found. You see, the letters are Hebrew letters. The language is like very similar to the Hebrew. So it's very interesting. Maybe we'll read it later. And the most important thing here that I want to show you is the inscription of Tel Dan. Wow, it's amazing because I don't know if you can see here, but you see the white here, you see, it's written House Bet David, House of David. It's the first time that David is mentioned out of the Bible. Because there was a big debate among scholars, did David was really exist, because there is some gap between the Bible and archaeological finds. So actually we found the name of David out of the Bible. It's very interesting. And here, from this side, from Caiaphas is a model of a temple, temples in this case. It was found in Caiaphas, not far in the lowland of Judea. And this is very similar to the description of the temple of Solomon, which is described in 1 Kings chapter 6. If you want to know how the temple of Solomon looked like, this is approximately. You see the pillars, you see the roof, etc. Okay, let's continue. We all know that Jerusalem was the capital of Judah, but Samaria was the capital of Israel, the northern kingdom. And the American delegation to Samaria found, in the beginning of the 20th century, some ivories. And ivories mean some few things. First of all, it means they were rich because you have to bring the ivory from Egypt, Africa, it's far away. And secondly, you need to have some very skilled people to work with this material. It's very, very expensive. And more than that, so those people don't have to work in the field to cultivate, to produce food, because someone else is doing that. And therefore, it's enormous rich monarchy, as it was written in the book of Amos, that they were very rich and very famous. And the prophet Amos talked about the ivories of Samaria. And here we see, by the way, woman in the window. The story about Jezebel and the mother of Sisera. It's very famous motif in the art of those times. And another look of this very, very tiny, unique ivories. Notice, you see the holes in those ivories. So probably they were on stick or something like this. And here you see another one. It was on the bed or chair or something like this. If you had ivory, you're very rich. Okay, we have two replicas here. One is the Siloam inscription, which now is in Istanbul. It's found in the Hezekiah tunnel. He dug under the rock to bring water to the city. And what do we have here? We have the Lachish relief today. It's in the British Museum. This is a replica, of course. Here we can see the war of the Assyrians against the city of Lachish and during the rebellion of Hezekiah, 701 BCE. Okay, we see the attackers, the defenders, and you see the arches. And here, after the city was full, what they plundered. And very interesting, you can see plants. This is the first describe of Israel. We see already today, we have these wine grapes in the same area of Lachish, and we see the trees, and we see the people who are going to the exile, the Assyrian exile. And here we can see King Sennacherib sits on the throne. A few years later, his sons will kill him, by the way. One of the most famous assassinations in the ancient world. It appears also in the Bible. Two Kings 19 and Isaiah 37, I think. Or maybe 39. I don't remember right now. Okay, let's continue. This is a replica of a burial cave in Jerusalem, Ketefin, not far from the old city. And the most interesting artifacts that they found there, it's two silver amulets. These are the most ancient biblical texts we found. It was several decades before Dead Sea Scrolls. It's verses from the book of Numbers. It's very unique artifacts. And not far from here, we have an inscription from the 6th century BCE. Yes, it's the first time that the name Jerusalem is mentioned out of the Bible. Okay, it's very interesting. It's written that Jehovah is the God of the whole earth, and the mountains of Judah, and belongs to him, the God of Jerusalem, something like this. Interesting. Okay, let's go to the next section. So until now, the Old Testament. Now let's go to the New Testament. Here we have an inscription from Caesarea. It's an inscription that Pontius Pilatus wrote, dedicated to Emperor Tiberius. He built a building, and the specific name of Pontius Pilatus is right here. Next to it, we saw an ossuary, and the name Yochanan, son of Chagekol. It's interesting because not this coffin, but what we find inside. You can see a replica. You see the nail that was passed through his ankle. This was the first evidence of crucifixion ever. Since then, we have more 2 or 3 examples. But this guy was crucified as Jesus. And it's interesting because the nail is from left to the right. And here we can see how the reconstruction of the crucifixion. So we don't really know, because all the pictures, Jesus, he has nails in his hand and his feet, but from other direction. And here, by the way, it's very interesting because here it's written Kepha. So remember, Kepha was the high priest that gave Jesus to the Romans. And here we have a very interesting place. We see the name in Hebrew, Yeshu, Jesus in Hebrew, and here Yeshua, another version of Jesus, Bar Yosef, Yehoshua, Joshua, Jesus, son of Joseph. Amazing. Is it the coffin of Jesus? We don't know, because Jesus is in the name appears only in Greek, Jesus. In Jesus, in the Septuagint, it's Joshua. So obviously the full name of Jesus was Yehoshua, Joshua. Jesus, it's Yeshu in Hebrew, or Yeshua. It's a short version of the name Yehoshua, Joshua. So here we have Yeshu Bar Yosef, Jesus, son of Joseph. So we know that Joshua and Joseph were a very common name, so it's very interesting. At least another guy had the same name. Is it possibly the coffin of Jesus? The ossuary of Jesus, sorry? Who knows? Let's continue. Okay, it was the highlights of the Israel Museum. There is a lot more. You can spend here hours and hours and hours. So come to Israel and come to Israel Museum. I believe that we'll have another episodes in this place. Shalom. Bye-bye.